This mental health conference, I've noticed in how folks have responded in 2021 when I first launched it with Josephine Kim and Russell Jung as plenary speakers, and then in 2022 with Jessica Chen Fang as one of the plenary speakers. A lot of people responded through their enrollment and registration, so the numbers have gone up over those 2 years, and just the energy in the discussion, in the Q and A's, and even in the lounge tables. This is all virtually, and so it struck me that we Asian American Christians have several perhaps barriers that prevent us from addressing issues of anxiety, issues of stress, issues of broken relationships, difficult marriages, conflict and violence, even depression, suicidal tendencies. These are not easy topics,
Mhm.
even within church cultures, even within small groups within
Mhm.
churches.
Mm.
And one of my desires in hosting a mental health conference for Asian American Christians is to help destigmatize these very human issues. If you're human, you're going to encounter stress and depression and anxiety and conflict and difficulties and burnout. And sometimes receiving Christian platitudes like just pray more, just trust in Jesus more, may actually be taken to minimize the real suffering we are going through. So I think there's both a kind of Asian shame culture as well as a Christian culture that can be dismissive of these very legitimate and real problems. And the mental health conference is designed to address these from a therapeutic as well as a spiritual formation perspective. So that's kind of a general comment. The specific thing I want to say is, and let me kind of illustrate through some movies. So Everything Everywhere All at Once, I've been reflecting on this movie, its structure as an Asian American film. So it was marketed as a kind of sci-fi, perhaps even an action sort of movie, but it is an Asian American movie. And part of what makes it an Asian American movie is that the entire plot is driven by an intergenerational family structure with Gong Gong, Evelyn, and with Joy. And the narrative is driven by conflict within these generations. The whole notion of the multiverse is generated by the choices Evelyn made to either please or displease Gong Gong, her father. The tensions that Joy experiences as the youngest child, the third generation in this film, is in direct relationship with Joy's relationship with her mom, Evelyn. Moreover, the theme, this kind of immigrant theme of laundry and taxes and this kind of disheveled and stress-filled family environment between Wayman and Evelyn, trying to make financial ends meet, and then the kind of failure of their marriage ending in divorce. These are all sort of generated out of this immigration, intergenerational family history. And it struck me that the joy and the pain of our intergenerational Asian family stories is both a mental health story because anxiety, stress, violence, wounds, responding to wounds, these are all issues that are trauma related to some degree. And Jessica Chen Fang discusses a migratory loss as a form of trauma in my recent podcast with her, but we also want to look at these pressure points in intergenerational family life from the perspective of spiritual formation. How do they impact our faith development and our identity formation? And my hope with the mental health conference is to host speakers and workshop leaders that can begin drilling more deeply both into this intergenerational family history with the pressure points therein and how this is located within a broader social history of us being immigrants from Asia in the US that have been racialized in a certain
Mhm.
way. So I'll kind of I'm beginning to throw a lot out there, but I'll kind of pause and welcome your feedback.
Sure. Starting from kind of more of a big picture as I'm listening to you, it strikes me that you're bringing up a lot of complexity. I think about what it is to be in the local church, to be a pastor, to be a small group leader. And especially if you're a lay leader and you've got a full time job or you're raising kids and you're getting them to soccer and music and so forth, your life is full. And yet, everything you've just talked about, David, is real, it's impacting, and it's complex, right?
Yeah.
So I just feel like what you're doing in the Center for Asian American Christianity, what Sustainable Faith is trying to do, is let us do some of the focused study and package it in a way that maybe folks, out there can start to engage with,
Yep.
including destigmatizing these things, beginning to create a way to engage the complexity so that it
Yep.
doesn't feel so overwhelming.
Yep.
And one of the things that I am mindful of is it feels to me there's an assumption that you don't have to study to do any of this, right? You should just know it. Kind of marriage and family. When my husband and I were overseeing that ministry, people don't expect to have to study how to become a good marriage partner or parenting, right? We actually
Mm,
think,
mm,
oh, you just
mm.
know it. And it doesn't work like that. As we found out, I've got 3 boys, and I'm telling you right now, you don't come into the world knowing how to raise boys or girls.
I hear you.
That's right. So we all had to be on a learning curve for that. And I
Mhm.
think this whole thing of our formation, our discipleship, and as immigrants in whatever generation, and the subsequent racialization, there's no way we would just spontaneously know how to cope and respond.
Yeah, I think it's really important to provide language. It's hard to kind of grow in self-knowledge without developing linguistic
Yeah,
sophistication. Theology is a form of Christian language.
that's
We
right.
get our grammar and concepts from scripture, and then we begin to apply it to interpret the world as well as our lives. And spiritual formation is a kind of rehearsing of a Christian language to understand our identity formation. And I think this takes on a particularity when we take seriously our racial and ethnic backgrounds and circumstances.
Right.
So, kind of in the spirit of Calvin, knowing ourselves also involves knowing these histories
Yes,
that are intergenerational, familial, but also social,
that's right.
right? This is the immigration racialization piece, is part of the social history of Asians in the US.
Yeah, absolutely. And thus the title of our conference, right? Of intergenerational wholeness. Knowing ourselves means knowing where we came from, both
Yeah.
our family of origin, our people of origin, the history of that, and our current context. And so even that, knowing ourselves, encompasses many spheres.